Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Beta Year program, and I am your host Tariq Khan. Today, the viewers today will discuss and explore Russia and Turkey relationship and what are the approaches and factors issues between these two countries relationships. So today, Professor Mehmet has joined us from Istanbul, Aydın University. You are Associate Professor of International Relations and Political Science. Dr. Mehmet, thank you so much joining the Beta program, and you are most welcome.
Thank you for inviting me to your program.
Sir, recently Turkey and Russia developed very closer ties. Then how would you analyze what are the factors led to the rapprochement between these two countries?
Indeed,
how would you analyze?
When you look at history, these two countries were bitter rivals. They have defined themselves as enemies. However, with the end of the Cold War, they started to cooperate with each other, and they have developed very good relationship indeed in the post-Cold War era. And there are a number of factors played a role in this rapprochement between Russia and Turkey. And the most important, one of the most important events showing this rapprochement between these two countries is the Turkish acquisition of the Russian S-400 air defense system. As you know, Turkey is a NATO member, and this air defense system is incompatible with the NATO arms system in Turkey. So this event has caused uproar in NATO countries, in particular in the United States. And from that event on, people in the West have started to ask the question whether Turkey was distancing from the West or not. Why there was such a rapprochement between these two countries? One of the most important reasons is their attitude towards the West, their relations with the Western countries. From the annexation of Crimea in 2014 onwards, Russia developed poor relations with Western countries, and also the same is applicable in Turkey's case. When a coup attempt took place in Turkey in 2016, the Western countries were reluctant to support the Turkish government. However, Putin was very quick to extend its support to the Turkish government. So from that period onwards, relations between Russia and Turkey have developed quickly. There are also other reasons why their relationship developed very rapidly. These include economic reasons, among others. Both countries have complementary economic systems. Turkey is producing the goods and products that are necessary, that are used widely in Russia. On the other hand, Russia is an important oil and gas exporter to Turkey. There are also significant Russian investments in Turkey, in particular in banking and energy sector. And also, there are many medium and large-sized Turkish companies which are active in Russia, in particular in the construction sector. These economic factors were instrumental in bringing two sides together. And also, conjunctural developments were also helpful for Moscow and Ankara to develop a close tie. After the outbreak of the Arab Spring in Syria, security problems have emerged, which have posed significant security problems for Turkey. The rise of PKK-affiliated PYD was an important problem for Turkey, and also the emergence of ISIS in Syria and Iraq was another problematic issue. So to wipe out this kind of problems, Russia and Turkey cooperated with each other. The fact that both Russia and Turkey have a security-based foreign policy culture is another factor that helped prepare the ground for closer relations between these two countries. Finally, needless to say that the personal chemistry between Erdogan and Putin definitely played a positive role in forging a closer relationship.
Sir, what are the limitations? How would you analyze what are the limitations of Russia-Turkish rapprochement?
It's obvious that these countries have a very close relationship, in particular in the last few years. However, it doesn't mean that the relationship is without any problem. There are some potential areas of friction between these countries. So these kind of issues limit their rapprochement. What are these problems? Geostrategically speaking, Turkey and Russia are in the opposite camps in the South Caucasus. While Turkey is allied with Azerbaijan and Georgia, Russia is in the same camp as Armenia and Iran. When it comes to the Cyprus dispute, given that Russia has enjoyed close political and economic ties with the Greek Cypriots since the Cold War era, Moscow backs their stance, which favors federalism against the Turkish position, which calls for partition or confederation. And also, although Moscow and Ankara have worked out some kind of reconciliation in the Syrian crisis within the framework of the Astana process, they still diverge on some significant points. The role of the Turkey-supported opposition, the Syrian Kurds, and the role of the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad in the future of Syria. The status of the Syrian Kurds is an important one of contention between Moscow and Ankara. Historically speaking, Russia has always had a special relationship with the Kurds, and today Russia would like to keep the Kurdish card against Turkey on the table, and Putin, Russian President Vladimir Putin, is in favor of granting some kind of autonomy to the Kurds in the new Syrian state. Russia has even let the PYD, Kurdish PYD, open a representative in Moscow in February 2016. Furthermore, Moscow and Ankara do not see eye to eye in terms of the direction of energy pipelines in the Caspian Basin. Russia and Turkey compete for the direction of the route of the Caspian energy, with both countries promoting the pipeline's passage through their own territories. Another problematic issue between Russia and Turkey is that despite the intense relationship between political and economic actors, the societal dimension of the bond between them seems to be superficial. The number of Russian-Turkish mixed marriages has surpassed 100,000, with many of them living in Turkish cities along the southern coast. As a result, the visibility of the societies has mutually increased. However, despite this positive phenomenon, the lack of NGOs and insufficient interaction between those that exist constitute a significant impediment to the establishment of a strong bond between these communities. Another significant problem standing in the way of a stronger bond between Moscow and Ankara is the fact that their relationship lacks an institutional basis. The most advanced institutional structure through which they foster their ties is the High Level of Cooperation Council, which convenes with the participation of relevant ministers each year. Yet, this mechanism of cooperation cannot be compared to the EU or NATO, through which Turkey has established a multi-dimensional institutional relationship with its Western partners.
Sir, is it possible for Turkey to forge a strategic partnership with Russia at the expense of its relations with NATO and the European Union? How would you analyze this?
Yeah. It could be maintained that since the expected and real benefits of NATO and the EU have declined over the years from Turkey's perspective, Turkey has increasingly embraced a transactional approach to these institutions that were once thought to be the main pillars of its external defense and political economic relations. Furthermore, it has striven to search for alternatives to make up for the benefits that the EU and NATO did not deliver. It is in this setting that Turkey has moved to upgrade its multi-dimensional ties with Russia, ties that it began cultivating in the 1990s. After the AKP came to power in 2002, Turkey started to question the usefulness of the alliance, Western alliance, for its security more locally. With an Islamist pedigree, the AKP has, unlike the Kemalists, proponents of Mustafa Kemal's Atatürk's ideals, no identity-driven commitment to Western institutions, and views its relationship with these institutions more through pragmatic lenses. When the AKP government decided that NATO did not provide the expected protection against the security challenges in its neighborhood, it became willing to search for alternative security systems. Turkey's acquisition of the Russian S-400 air defense system, as well as its growing cooperation with Russia in Syria and the broader Middle Eastern region in the context of the Arab uprisings, are the byproduct of this consideration. Moreover, Turkey's increasing military capabilities in the last 2 decades have enhanced its strategic autonomy, reducing its dependence on NATO as a protective umbrella. As a result, increasing strategic autonomy has reduced Turkey's reliance on NATO for its security needs and provided it room for maneuver to engage with such actors as Russia if need be. Turkey has developed closer ties in this process with Russia. Turkey still feels threat perception. Russia in the Middle East, in the Black Sea region, for instance. Therefore, in order to counterbalance Russia in the Black Sea, Turkey fosters close ties with Ukraine in the defense industry. This country has been in conflict with Russia since the latter annexed Crimea in 2014. Cooperation in the defense industry is expected to be followed by military exercises in the Black Sea. All in all, exiting NATO could be costly for Turkey's security. Furthermore, since Turkey lives in a volatile neighborhood, NATO provides deterrence against possible adversaries in the region. When it comes to Turkey's economic relations, Russia is no match for the EU. EU countries are Turkey's most important source of short-term finance, foreign direct investment, technology, and tourism revenue. At its peak, Turkey's exports to Russia reached $7 billion in 2013, while Turkey's exports to the EU amounted to almost $70 billion in 2019. Therefore, Russia cannot be a match to the EU in economic terms. Moreover, Russia's importance in Turkey's energy imports, the mainstay of Russian-Turkish trade relations, will continue decreasing in the years ahead, except for the nuclear power plants under the construction in Turkey's Mersin Akkuyu. This will further diminish the importance of economic relations, thereby undermining the prospects for a strategic partnership between Turkey and Russia. Furthermore, the fact that Turkey enjoys an asymmetric relationship with Russia calls into question the sustainability of a possible strategic partnership, because this is because in such a form of relationship, the stronger partner, Russia, will impose its will on Turkey. The fact that Moscow and Ankara have different regime types constitutes another obstacle for Turkey to disengage further from the EU and NATO and towards Russia. As you know, Russia is one of the prominent examples of competitive authoritarianism, while Turkey has 70 years of experience in multi-party democracy. The recent criticism regarding a decline in democracy notwithstanding.
Sir, what is your take on the recent developments in Turkish-Russia relationships? How would you explain this?
Yeah, Turkish president and Russian president meet regularly. They meet a few times a year in person. However, since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic 18 months ago, they did not meet at all. Recently, almost a week ago, at the end of September, they met in Sochi, the Russian Black Sea resort, and this meeting lasted 3 hours. They have discussed the regional issues, including the Syrian problem, the Libya conflict, the Nagorno-Karabakh issue in Southern Caucasus. These were the main topics for discussion between these two leaders. And of course, Ukraine, and also as the acquisition of S-400 missiles, an issue of natural gas. Let me go over these topics briefly, what they have discussed at the Sochi meeting in Russia. Both of the leaders described the meeting as useful, but they did not give detailed information on these meetings, on the topics that were discussed in this meeting. Syria was one of the important topics that was discussed in the meeting. As you know, the Idlib is at the moment most important issue regarding the Syrian. There are in Idlib Turkish troops. Turkish troops aim to repel the Syrian forces from Idlib, because if the Syrian forces attack Idlib, then hundreds of thousands of people, Syrian people, can cross the Turkish border and increase the number of the Syrian refugees in Turkey. There are already more than 4 million Syrian refugees in Turkey, and this causes some political, economic, and societal problems in Turkey. So, number one objective of Turkey regarding the Syrian conflict these days is the prevention of the flood of Syrian refugees to Turkey. This the most important to holding Idlib. Idlib is key to Turkey's strategy in that sense. And also, South Caucasus is another problem, topical issue between these two countries. As you know, 40-day war was won by Azerbaijan against Armenia in South Caucasus, and Azerbaijan has recaptured Nagorno-Karabakh region, and Turkey and Russia played an active role in this war. This was another discussion topic at Sochi. Turkey lies to negotiations. Maybe a crossing will be opened between Turkey and Armenia in the upcoming months. Ukraine is another point of contention, not agreement, but contention, disagreement between Turkey and Russia, because Russia is angry with Turkey's forging closer ties with Ukraine. Turkey views Ukraine as a strategic partner in terms of defense industry and also in terms of the naval balance in the Black Sea region. Russia is very cautious about Turkey's relationship with Ukraine. As you know, Turkey has purchased a batch of S-400 air defense system from Russia, and now, despite the Western criticism, the Western outrage, Turkey is planning to buy another batch of S-400 missile defense system. That was another theme during the meeting at Sochi. And in Libya, both parties have been supporting different groups. Now, the issue of foreign fighters is the most important topic for discussion between these two countries. Yeah, these were the main themes that were discussed during the meeting at Sochi between Vladimir Putin and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan.
Sir, thank you so much for your valuable, precious, in-depth analysis on Russia-Turkey relationship and the rapprochement. Thank you so much again for your time in the Vetaya program.
Thank you, sir, for inviting me to your program.